Hello and welcome to Ham Nation, episode 532 for October 26, 2022. Thanks for joining us. Hey, and hello, everybody. Welcome to Ham Nation, it's their spooky episode, or the Halloween episode. I am the king of Baofangs. My previous title was Baofang Daddy, but I've been anointed to King of Baofangs. My wife is going as the Mother of Dragons because our kids wanted to go as dragons this year, so she got me a king outfit. So here we go. Anyway, let's say hi to our hosts. Hello, everybody. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Hello, people.
All right, we'll start at the top. Joe, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. And the only thing scary I'm wearing is a Nebraska shirt because our football season is as scary as it gets.
Yeah.
But, and I'd like to mention that I got to see Amanda and Jeff a couple of weeks ago in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And I want to thank the wonderful people from the Chi-Y Club in Cheyenne for putting on a great Rocky Mountain Division convention. It was a great time and my first time in Cheyenne.
Indeed. Well, we got a cat in the upper right-hand corner there. I see Gordo. Gordo, who let the cat in the shack?
I'm not sure, but meow meow, and we're headed for space during my segment tonight.
All right. Don, you're looking very professional, very, very clinical tonight. How are you?
Well, I'm fine. I've got my instrument, and I'm ready to do some operating tonight. I might even turn the radio on. We've got Dr. T. She's in the Halloween mood as well. She's not really dressed up, but well, you'll see it in the Newsline segment. And we're going to have some fun tonight because Halloween is right around the corner.
Indeed. And Amanda, you're going to have to help me out on the costume. I got the orange hair, but how many costumes have orange hair? I'm stuck.
You know, actually, there is one, but I am not dressed as her, and that's Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay, that was going to be my first
Yeah,
shot.
but she has nice straight hair, so I just wanted to have bright red hair.
Oh, okay. Very
It
good.
looks lovely. It really does.
It's very spooky. This is crazy. I feel like a different person tonight.
Very good.
Call me Miranda this evening.
From Sex and the City?
No, her evil twin.
my
evil
evil
twin.
Lon and her evil twin Miranda are real close.
Anyhow, everyone, we got a great show. Stick around at the end. Josh and I are going to be taking your questions. I got plenty of time to follow tonight. I don't have any interviews. And we're going to be having some round discussions about HARP and de-expeditions taking place here at the end of the show. So stay tuned. Thanks for being here. Gordo, over to you.
Well, thanks, Amanda. And I'm very happy to say that Pacificon, and if we can go to that first slide, Pacificon was an outstanding success. Pacificon held a great Pacific Division ham radio convention. They had probably 1,500 folks there, and by all accounts, everybody was happy. And the best part with Pacificon were all the volunteers, and they were everywhere thanks to the Mount Diablo Amateur Radio Group. So Pacificon did it well. Then we head for the next day at Pacificon, and that was our instructor academy, and it was brim full. And here's the big deal. We've got plenty of free materials for download for ham instructors, including PowerPoint for all 3 licensed classes, including home study, including my technician instructor's guide for each level of tech, general, and extra. All you have to do is go to haminstructor.com and register. Just simple registration, put a password in there, and the next day you'll be able to download all of this material that is free thanks to the W5YI group. Well, now let's head into space, and the amateur radio aboard the International Space Station is going strong. In fact, extra strong, because as of August 11th, there are now 2 of the Kenwood D710 GA units, dual band, on the air. One of the units is operating as NA1SS, that's the crossband repeater, and the other one is operating RS0ISS, that's the packet, and the packet is in the Russian module, and thanks to Sergey, RV3 Delta Romeo, it's strong on 145.825. And we'll take a listen to the Columbus module in just a moment. But schools are encouraged to take part in the ISS operation and make contact. And when schools make contact, many times they'll ask the astronauts a question. And this one deals with, what's it like for day and night in space?
We have constant lighting, so the only time you really notice sunrise and sunset is if you happen to be looking out a window. In our crew quarters, we can keep them as dark or as light as we like. So we try to have lights on during the day and turn the lights off at night so we get a sense of a normal day.
And they do talk fast, but it's really a kick to be able to hear the 60 to 80 schools a year here in the USA communicating with the International Space Station. The International Space Station is also upgrading its antennas for the crossband repeater. And the antenna system that they have is linear, but the polarization angle rotates as the signal goes through different parts of the ionosphere. Remember, they're right up there next to the E layer. In general, these antennas, either right-hand or left-hand polarized, is better linear because it will pick up the most signals down here on Earth. But when you're working through the International Space Station, you really need to make sure that you're able to track the linear polarization that's changing, because these antennas are fixed, but you've got all the capabilities. And here's a good look at how those antennas were placed in there, and there's 4 of them, and they provide great reception, especially if you have a school contact where the school contact is able to go to linear polarized antennas that you see here at this particular school. And you're probably thinking, well, to work the space station's crossband repeater, I've really got to have a big, huge signal. Well, not necessarily. In fact, you can get by with a small antenna like this and listen to the reception of the crossband repeater. And the crossband repeater is on the air all the time. It's no longer rotating with the digital packet system that's in the other module.
November 7, Juliet, India, CN84. November 7, Juliet, India, CN84, Victor Echo 7, Victor Papa, Charlie, November 89. Victor Echo 7, Victor Papa, QSL, CN84.
So the Kerr chunk is the crossband repeater, and the crossband repeater is functioning perfectly aboard the International Space Station. But again, when it begins to fade, as Clint Bradford is doing here, he'll rotate the antenna from one vertical polarization to the right or to the left, and that way he's able to make up for the rotation of the incoming signal. Well, where is the space station and when can I work it? Well, there's all sorts of great programs out there, as well as through AMSAT, but my favorite is Heavens Above. And all you have to do is type heavens-above. Even though you see Heavens Above here, they don't have the hyphen. You need heavens-above. Once you type it in there, it says log in, and you're going to go, nah, I don't think I want to log in. If you don't, you're not going to have a good shot at anything, because it thinks you're at 00 by 00 latitude and longitude. So be sure and follow the instructions. It's real easy to do. Log in, and you'll be ready to then be able to get predictions. And here we've got myself all logged in, did it in just a matter of a minute or so. Then go to ISS, because you want to track the International Space Station. And tracking the International Space Station is going to give you capabilities of taking advantage of the crossband repeater that you would use with a dual band radio, or maybe two radios. Well, this menu comes up and it says, I want to see visible only. No, you want to see all of the passes, because you don't have to be at twilight to be able to see and get through to the space station. You can do it in the dead of night or during the day at bright sunlight. So be sure and go and uncheck visible by checking all. And once you get the all, you're going to look at the time and you're going to go, oh, let's see, 8 at minus. No, that's your local time for where you're going to be looking for the space station with your antenna system. And you want to take a look down there and get anything that's above about 10 or 15 degrees. If you live in an area with real tall buildings or a whole bunch of trees, you may want to look for passes, and they'll last anywhere from 4 minutes to 8 minutes. Look for a pass that, well, here's one at 51 degrees, and that should be a good pass. Then you go to, well, where's that going to be? Well, go over here to the ground track and look at this. That pass is going to be right overhead. That's not going to be a great pass, because everybody in the world is going to be coming on and trying to access the space station. And here you are with just a little 5-watt handheld. So at first, we recommend, while they have a good overhead pass, you may want to try with a handheld and just tune in to the space station to get the feel for it. This is the pass that I like. These passes are out at sea, and I've got a directional antenna system that squirts a signal out there on 2 meters and 440, and that's going to give me a great way of going. Once you have the pass identified, you first want to start listening, and we'll talk about where to tune it in just a moment. And here's something that you will hear.
Roger, Roger, you're 5 and 7 through the satellite, WB6NOA, copy it, 73.
73, WD9EWK.
Bingo, just like that. You don't carry on a long conversation, because everybody in the world is trying to get a hold of other stations through the space station. Now, here's the deal. As the space station is coming up and you're beginning to hear stuff break squelch on your FM handheld, you're receiving on 437-800. But no, because of Doppler shift, and as that space station is headed your direction, the compressed signal is going to go up anywhere from 5, 10, or 15 kilohertz. So I go to find the station at 437, not 800, but 437-810, or 437-815. I want to go a little high as that station is coming up. The lower frequency is where we transmit to hear our own voice, 145.990 with a 67 hertz tone. But at first, get started by listening to the incoming signals on the International Space Station, and you do that by going to find the pass and then aim an antenna, or even the rubber duck that you saw Susie using a little earlier can pick up that station on a good overhead pass, and you got to keep moving your handheld to get the right polarization to come in nice and strong. Now, for those of you that want to save your voice, again, monitor for at least a week or two to get a hang of it, and then with a good pass, try your luck at transmitting on 145.990 with a subaudible tone required at 67 hertz. Now, the packet is up at 145.825. That comes from the Russian module. And any kind of radio that will decode a packet, such as the Kenwood handhelds, will be able to easily decode packet. And again, you've looked at all the passes. You'll see that you want to, as the packet is coming in, tune a little bit high, 145, 825, maybe 830. You have to go in 5 kilohertz steps. So on your handheld, you're going to need to go into the menu because most handhelds come out in either 10 or 20 kilohertz steps. You got to get it down to 5 kilohertz. Here, if you look real carefully, it's all the way down to 1 kilohertz, and only the more elaborate stations will pick up. So here we are tuning in on packet, and we've got a station in Mexico, and it's coming through the Russian component of the International Space Station. So we hope that all of you will have an opportunity of working the International Space Station. A little handheld is really all you need to hear it. And we were listening to it a day or so ago with a small handheld. And again, be sure that you're on UHF to be hearing the space station. Listen and see how other operators are using their transceivers to get through to the crossband. All right, let's go back to Amanda and see if she has any questions for me.
Oh, a couple, Gordo. You showed a lot of different antennas in your slideshow there. Can you describe some of them?
Yes, the antennas that are the real favorite would be the arrow antenna because of the cross-polarized elements. The other one is the elk antenna that is also 2 meters and 440. And the big important thing is you got to have it nice and steady, that you can hold it for about 8 minutes, not a real heavy one that's going to tax your lifting capabilities. But the arrow seems to be the most popular.
Okay. And if some expert tips here, everyone, if you're trying to listen to the ISS and make some contacts, it's not the only satellite, but let's start there. Follow a lot of Twitter accounts that do satellite work. One of the most famous one is KX9X. Sean Kutsko, brilliant in working satellites, and they are always putting tips themselves on Twitter and letting you know what's going on, who they heard, things like that. So you can kind of get a feeling of who else everyone else is hearing and who they're working. The other thing is don't try to log right then and there. Record
Right.
it. Record it. So you're not wasting time and asking them to repeat. Just record, and then you don't have to ask anybody to repeat their call sign. Those are some key elements in working quickly and making other people happy for you to make that QSO, and they can make the next one. Another person definitely said, listen, listen, listen. It's kind of like DX. So listen a lot before you try to work somebody. Of course, that he meant listen a lot of passes, not listen a long time. Otherwise, you're going to lose the satellite. But definitely, those are some of the things that you want to do. Don't jump in there your first time, or you might get chastised a little bit or step on somebody else. But definitely, we want you to get involved in it. And lots of great setups, by the way, out there. If you search, I've seen a lot of rolling trash can, kind of where you mount your antenna, your arrow antenna, and so it's easier for you to rotate it and follow along, and you're not holding it up for 8 minutes, right, Gordo? Those kind of things.
Yep, that really makes a difference. And I underscore listen, listen, listen on 437 810 or 815 as it's coming up. And after it is overhead, go to 437 795 and begin to tune lower to compensate for Doppler shift. And you'll be a real pro. And this will lead you to the excitement of either 60 or more additional ham satellites on single sideband, on data, all out there ready for you to work them.
Woo woo! I'm excited. And I've listened a few times, but mostly the only thing I've gotten from ISSS is their SSTV cards. That was really cool. What about everyone else? Josh, have you ever worked anyone via ISS?
I do APRS. So
Okay.
I've talked a lot about APRS. I really like APRS, and the fact that the APRS digipeater on the ISS works pretty well, actually, is really handy. I'm also a Kenwood D72 owner, which is kind of the really nice FM handheld that you can do it's crossband capable, so that makes it a little bit easier. But to be honest, I echo everything everybody said. You can get yourself an Arrow antenna with the 2 antenna feeds. You can use a cheapy radio as a receiver in one hand and use a different radio in the other. Record the QSOs. That's really important. The elk antenna, actually, I think the Arrow is a better performer, but the elk antenna, because it's like a log periodic, you can kind of just hold it in the middle, and that's a little bit easier to wield. It's also easy to put on a tripod, but at the same time, they all work great. If you've got the dreaded overhead pass, it's sometimes a little difficult to tripod it, but if if it's away from you a bit, like only a 30, 40 degree, you can kind of use a tripod to just sweep across, and it makes it a lot easier. So, So says the king. Gordo, any last words?
On those overhead passes, it's quite common when it goes over a large city with a lot of hams trying that the crossband doesn't come up. I mean, you're going 50 watts to a 5-element beam. It's not coming up. It's because there's a giant double of everybody trying, and it saturates the input to the point that no signals will trigger the crossband looking for 67 hertz. It just can't hear it with all the stuff. So get a pass that's to your north, south, east, or west, and enjoy.
I've got a couple of tips as well.
All right.
It really
Doctor's
helps if you it really helps if you have a full duplex radio, because you're using both bands at the same time.
Right.
And a good vintage full duplex is the Yaesu FT530. This is a really robust radio. It works really well for that. And another tip that I would give you is instead of trying to record the QSO with a separate audio recorder, like a little digital recorder or whatever, if you, like for instance, most of the time I'm using a Kenwood handheld, because I use I don't have a working full duplex radio right now, so I use a Kenwood or a Yaesu going up, and I receive on my ICOM, and the ICOM has the micro SD card in it, and you can use the recorder built into the radio.
Sure.
And just start it for the whole pass, and then pop that little dude out and throw it in your computer, and you can just sit there and pick out exactly where you are as to what you want to listen to. So that works really, really good, instead of having to have a third piece of equipment that you got to monkey with and try to record and get decent audio off of. It's perfect coming out of that radio into that micro SD card.
There's a good question in the chat. I'll take it really fast. The question of SDRs. Yeah, you can use an SDR. In fact, I just had Ham Radio Deluxe on the live stream, and we were talking about the ISS and satellite passes. The cool thing about apps like Ham Radio Deluxe that actually Gordo was showing a picture of is it'll handle the Doppler for you.
Right.
But then it's just a question of like how much gear do you want to drag into the field, right?
Right.
If you want to just have a handheld and an antenna, you can do the Doppler on your own, but you're going to be like, what do they say with satellite operators? You need 3 arms, because you got one for the antenna, one for the radio, one to shift the Doppler, one to, So sometimes having the laptop connected to the radio, controlling the Doppler for you is actually really, really nice. So anyway, Gordo, you were going to say something? Go ahead.
Nope, that's it. Just everybody on the web, look up ARISS, ARIS, and see all that they do and the support that you can give to the ARISS team.
Right. There are some really good iPhone and Android apps as well for satellite tracking. Really, really good ones. I've got them on my phone. I can't pull them up just right off the top of my head right now, but just search for that. You'll find some really good smartphone apps for satellite tracking.
And there's so many satellites now. So many. You used to like cry because you wouldn't have a pass for 4 hours. Now it's all the time. So just
get out and have fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. Just experiment.
Yeah. It's not the easiest thing at first, like Josh said. You need to be an octopus. It seems like once you get the hang of it, it goes by real fast. And it's a lot of fun.
And when we were in Wyoming, Arrow Antennas is right there in Cheyenne, and they were at the Ham Fest, and I picked up one of those Arrow dual band antennas with the duplexer. So I'm just gonna try it in the next few days.
Oddly enough, for and good point. It was Forget Your Life in the chat said no diplexer needed with the elk.
Right.
Good point.
'Cause it's logged
Also,
periodic.
a lot of folks want to get the duplexer for the Arrow. You don't really need to. You actually are better off just having 2 radios, getting in a Baofeng, a little cheapy, whatever radio, and then just moving the duplex with the receiving radio and then using another radio as a transmit. There's all your duplex problems gone. No
Right.
problem.
Exactly.
Very
Yeah.
easy.
Mhm.
So duplexer's great if you got a full duplex
Right.
radio, but if you don't have a D72 or, the one that Don showed earlier,
Yeah.
just get the two channel.
And a headset.
Oh,
headset.
please. Yes.
Right.
You gotta have
Boy,
a headset.
we all got a lot of
And-
thoughts on this.
Right.
I know.
And if you're- if
This
you're-
could have been a whole episode.
And if you're
Seriously.
using Vox, keep the profanity to a minimum because it's
Yeah.
frustrating as it can be.
Yeah.
Ask me how I know.
I'm with where Don is. Like, yeah, you can't have Vox around me. That's illegal.
Yeah.
Well, then
Anyhow,
I'll.
ISS detector for Android is a
Yeah.
good one. TS2000, great indoor radio for working and listening to sats. Yes.
You can work the linears with that too if you get
Yeah.
down that world. So.
There's
That's
also
right.
I think it was an ICOM 748 that we used to have. Great, also for the same thing. All right.
Yeah.
I think great.
Yeah.
Great content.
Good
Gordo.
job,
Thanks for
everybody.
bringing that to us, and thanks chat room. All right. I think that brings us to ICOM.
Keep your competitive contesting edge with ICOM. ICOM's high-powered base stations cut through pileups, letting you work the bands and record those contacts. Contest from the comfort of your home or remotely with the RSBA One app. Heard it, worked it, logged it. The IC7300 is a high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design that will far exceed your expectations. This innovative HF transceiver digitizes RF before various receiver stages, reducing inherent noise in different IF stages. The IC7300 changed the way entry-level HF is designed. RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and SD memory card slot. The real HF fun starts here. Create your own band opening with the IC9700. This transceiver brings direct sampling to the UHF-VHF weak signal world. This all-mode transceiver is loaded with innovative features that are sure to keep you busy. Faster processors, higher input gain, higher display resolution, and a cleaner signal. 4.3-inch color touchscreen TFT LCD, real-time high-speed spectrum scope, and waterfall display. Smooth satellite operation with 99 satellite channels, dual watch operation, and full duplex operation in satellite mode. ICOM's IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants. This high-performance SDR can pick out faint signals in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The ICOM 7610 is a direct sampling, software-defined radio that has changed the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. RF direct sampling system, 110 RMDR, independent dual receiver, dual digicell. ICOM's IC7851 gives you a new window into the RF world and is HF excellence unparalleled. With faster processors, higher input gain, higher display resolution, and a cleaner signal, it's truly the pinnacle of HF perfection. Dual receivers, digital IF filters, memory keyer, digital voice recorder, high-resolution spectrum waterfall display, enhanced PC connectivity, and SD memory card slot. Learn more about all these great ICOM radios at icomamerica.com/amateur.
And a royal thank you to ICOM for sponsoring Ham Nation. We appreciate the support. So every time we do an episode, we give away 3 swag packs, and the winners of those swag packs are JH, KD9, VGR, Ralph J, KA5, NUK, Jared C, KF0, INV, and then every month, ICOM gives a radio. And this month's radio, apropos of the chat just exploding, telling us that one of the best mobile radios to do satellite contacts is the ICOM IC2730 because it's very inexpensive. And that's a really great point. We missed that, Mark. So everybody in the comments, kudos to you. And you'll feel like a king if you won this radio. But today it's only one person. It's Anthony M, K6YW. So Anthony, you won the 2730. Congratulations to you. If you would like to get in on this crazy giveaway that ICOM does, all you need to do is go to the link in the description, ICOM America. Go ahead and click that little Enter Now button, provide your details like your email address and your call sign, and you'll be entered to win the swag packs. Again, we give 3 away every time we do an episode of Ham Nation. Then at the end of the month, we'll pick one of those winners from all of the swag pack prize giveaways for the entire year to potentially win that radio. So again, congratulations to all the winners, and thank you again, ICOM, for the support to the show. Dawn, please give us a verdict on how we're doing on this episode. Is it terminal, or are we going to live?
I think you just need a little squirt from my instrument here, and you'll be just fine. I'll get with you after the show on that. That's probably not safe for work.
No, thank you.
Yeah, if your doctor walks in with a turkey baster, I just, you might want to call the board.
No, probably not. But I got my gloves on. So, got that going for us. Why don't we go ahead and get out of this foolishness and get into some serious stuff, and that would be the news of the week from Amateur Radio Newsline. From Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2347. This is Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, October 26th, 2022. First up, news that the former laboratory of inventor Nikola Tesla has received major funding to further its development into a major science and technology center.
The former laboratory of 20th century innovator Nikola Tesla has been chosen to receive a $500,000 grant from the National Park Services and National Endowment of the Arts. The funds will be used to help pay for restoration of the Long Island, New York property and transform it into a museum and educational science center honoring the spirit of Tesla's groundbreaking work. Known as Wardenclyffe Lab, it became a home to many of Tesla's discoveries in radio and other aspects of technology. He had created the Long Island Lab as a kind of radio city with the goal of transmitting electricity and information wirelessly. The site was especially well known for a transmitter tower that was 187 feet above ground and reached 120 feet below ground level. That tower is long since gone. This is Tesla's only surviving laboratory, and it is a landmark, having been added to the U.S. National Historic Register in 2018. Amateur Radio has an active interest in the property as well, and the site recently hosted the 75th anniversary celebration and special event station of the Suffolk County Radio Club. I'm Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
You may have heard of the tragedy of the freighter that sank during a storm in 1975 in one of the Great Lakes as immortalized by singer Gordon Lightfoot. The vessel's story is being told again with the help of a special event station.
In the state of Michigan, the story of the tragedy cannot be told enough. On November 10, 1975, an American freighter, the SS Edmund Fitzgerald, was sent to the bottom of Lake Superior. The crew of 29 lost their lives that day. That story will be shared once again between October 30th and November 13th by members of the Livonia Amateur Radio Club, K8UNS, as they operate at special event station W8F. On Saturday, November 5th, the operation will also be at the Dawson Great Lakes Museum from 1600 to 2030 UTC. This is also a POTA activation and an entity in the U.S. Islands Awards Scheme. The museum and the Detroit Historical Society are hosting the event, hoping that amateurs from around the world will make contact and that visitors to the museum will observe the portable ham station on its day of operation there. Hams who log W8F as a contact will be issued a confirmation certificate. See the QRZ.com page for special event station W8F for more details. This is Sel MB, KB3 TZD.
There's a new team on the campus of Marshall University who may be representing the school in the sports involving amateur radio.
The newest team on the campus of Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia, isn't involved in varsity sports, but amateur radio. Sharing the same name as the school's athletes, the Thundering Herd Amateur Radio Club is getting a foothold with a core group of 6 members, including founder Jacob Riston, KE8PWC. Jacob is a pre-med student majoring in biology and a ham for 2 years. He told Newsline that one of the most immediate things on the club's agenda is to help unlicensed members study for the FCC exam and to grow the size of the club. There's lots of studying to be done and, of course, some paperwork, too, so the club can apply for a call sign and establish a shack on campus. Meanwhile, Jacob has been exploring the HF bands and perfecting the art of antenna building. He told Newsline that hands-on projects are perhaps his favorite part of the hobby. It looks like one of those projects, the Thundering Herd Amateur Radio Club, is coming to fruition.
Newsline anchor Jim Dameron, N8TMW. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at arnewsline.org. With Kevin Trotman, N5PRE, Sel Lemby, KB3TZD, Jim Dameron, N8TMW, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3, we'll see you next time here on Ham Nation. Now, here's the solar update from Dr. Tamitha Skov, WX6SWW.
We're coming down from some fast solar wind that brought aurora to high latitudes, and our sun gets ready for Halloween. Those stories and more in the news this week. Space weather calms down just a bit from last week. As we take a look at our Earth-facing disk, we don't have any scary active regions in Earth view this week, but we do have a coronal hole in the south that's been rotating through the Earth strike zone. That has been sending us some fast solar wind and has brought some gorgeous aurora shows down to high latitudes, not quite mid-latitudes, but we do have chances for some solar storms in about a week. If we take a look at the east limb of the sun, you can see some gorgeous prominence eruptions and solar storm launches there in the north. This is from some regions that have not yet rotated into Earth view, but they will in the next few days, which means in about a week they could be sending us some Earth-directed solar storms to give us aurora photographers a better chance, especially down at mid-latitude, so keep your fingers crossed. But meanwhile, as we take a look at the rest of the Earth-facing disk, look at that happy sun. Do you see that smiling face? In fact, as we take a look, let me just do this and then maybe do this here and kind of something like that, and voila, it looks like the sun is getting ready for Halloween. For more details on this week's space weather, including when those new active regions will rotate into view, come check out my channel or see me at spaceweatherwoman.com.
Nicely done, Dr. T. Make sure you follow her on Twitter at Tamitha Skov. Check out her YouTube channel, Tamitha Skov, and of course, spaceweatherwoman.com. Do follow her on Twitter because she just, I don't think she sleeps. I think she's constantly on there looking at the sun. Well, no, we don't recommend you look at the sun. Need some shades for that. But she's checking it out and posting stuff on Twitter all the time. So yeah, if you have even a passing interest in solar weather, she is a great follow, and I guarantee you will learn something. So at Tamitha Skov, Twitter, and Tamitha Skov, Facebook, and spaceweatherwoman.com. And that's all we have here from the lab. Let's go back over to tonight, our favorite redhead, Amanda.
Uh-oh. I think we're going to Joe.
Oh, that's right. We're going to Joe. I don't know what I'm thinking. It's the red shirt.
That's right.
It's the red Nebraska shirt that had me bumfuzzled.
All right. And we're going to talk a little bit about a kit that is not available yet. And it's really, really exciting. But let's start off, and we'll get the screen up. And you can see an interesting little picture here. That's a simple LM386 type audio amplifier, and it's for a section that I updated in the ARRL 100th Anniversary Handbook. I do a chapter in it, chapter number 23, Construction Techniques. And the 100th Anniversary ARRL Handbook is a real important upgrade because about every section has had a lot of updated material added to it, lots of new information. This is the time to get your 100th Anniversary ARRL Handbook, and it's available in electronic version as well as a hardbound single volume or a multi-volume paperback collection. And there's also lots of online material that goes with it. And they were using this particular picture as part of the promotion of my chapter. And I did take that picture. And I noticed the way they had shadowing in all the other ones. So I made my lighting match the other chapters and so forth. And I was writing about how to use a proto board like this that's solderless and how to put the leads in place and so forth. And so some new material for the handbook. And so we're looking forward to actually getting my own in the mail shortly and seeing what else the other authors did. But it's well worth it to get the ARL 100th Anniversary Handbook. It's just a black cover with the number 100 and the ARL logo on it. Definitely worthwhile getting. And I have put a lot of time into it, as well as all the other authors as well. This is a kit. You're looking at one of the very first prototypes of this kit. What this is the T41 EP SDT, software defined transceiver. And what this is a kit, and it's got several boards. It's got 7 boards in it, but all the surface mount stuff is done for you. So all you got to do is put the through-hole parts in it, and away it goes. And it won't look like this. This prototype was done with a 3D printed front panel and case and everything, but it didn't give it a lot of shielding. And so the 4-state QRP group took on the task of mass producing this. And I'm in the middle of one of the levels of beta testing the assembly of the kit. And there will be a lot of changes before this is available. Now I'm going to have to tell you that there is a book available, and I don't have the link right in front of me, but if you look on Amazon and look for T41 kit, there is a book that is written about the original design of this radio. And it has a lot of information about assembling the boards and so forth. But once again, all the surface mount parts are done for you. You do just the through-hole parts. But it's quite complicated. It uses a teensy 4.1 computer on a board, and it has lots of extra memory space for different types of modifications or improvements in the software, and it's all open source, so there's going to be a lot of people rewriting things and making it work even better. But the new one will not look like this at all, and I think I have a picture of that coming up. But we're going to take a look here. This is the first board that I assembled, and this is that switch matrix, which is all the buttons, and there's 18 buttons there. Now, mine, of course, was a prototype, and it came with 18 push-on plastic tabs, which, number one, didn't fit through the holes on the new front panel. It also didn't hold on to the buttons unless you glued them. So I didn't put any of those on the buttons, and we'll just use the buttons directly until the new buttons come in that will push down on it. So this board, as you can see, has surface mount parts on the left and these through-hole mounted buttons, which are pretty easy to put on, but you got to make sure they're very straight and very flat and snug against the board so they all fit nice when you put them in the case. And this is what my board looked like, all finished up and all nice and neat. I try to do that to all my kits and make sure they're nice, neat, and straight and ready to go. This is what it's going to look like as the 4-state QRP version of it. And you can see we're using the same kind of knobs we've used on other 4-state kits, and we are using PC board material to make all the case parts. However, there is a few 3D printed parts on the inside that I've been tinkering with as well. You can see, once again, it looks a little different, but using the PC board as the case makes for a shielded cabinet, which was not available as a 3D printed one. This is what the inside of one of the prototypes looked like. And you can see there are a lot of interconnecting cables. And everybody says, so why are there so many cables in there? Well, the reason is that each of these 7 boards can be replaced. And so if you have a problem with one, you can replace it. Or if somebody comes up with a modification or improvement, you don't have to mess with a single board. You can just take the one board out, fix it, and put it back in and plug it in. So yes, there are a lot of cables, but this is not number one, a beginner's kit, and number two, it is an experimenter's kit, because it's not meant to just put it together and forget about it. There's going to be software and hardware updates, all sorts of different modifications and improvements, and that's what open source software defined radio is all about. And so the T41 is, I think, an innovative product. Once again, I would not recommend this for a first-time kit builder. I would say for somebody pretty experienced to work on this. And that is the T41 kit. And coming up, I'm possibly in an upcoming episode, I'm going to be talking about some of my Hamfest finds that have been really unusual bargains, and what I've had to do to fix them up and get them going. So I think I get to send it to Amanda.
You do. A couple of things. Josh is going to bring up the 100th anniversary for, there it is.
Yeah, so it's the 100
That is the handbook.
hardcover collector's edition.
Well worth buying it. And if you've got one and I happen to be at your local Hamfest, I'd be glad to sign my chapter, and I have done that quite often. And that reminds me, this weekend I'll be at the St. Louis Halloween Hamfest on Saturday. And then the following weekend, I will be doing a live group kit build in Enid, Oklahoma. Nice. And then the weekend after that, I will be speaking at Ham Jam in Alpharetta, Georgia, which is the north part of the Atlanta metro area. Yeah. So I will be in the Atlanta area on the second weekend in November. Third weekend in November is kind of a local one in Norfolk, Nebraska. So that'll pretty much round out my Hamfest for 2022. And then, of course, 2023, I hope to see everybody at Hamcation in Orlando.
You're a busy man, Joe. My goodness. And it was really, really nice to see you in Cheyenne. I haven't been to Cheyenne, Wyoming since, 1994. So it's been a while for me as well, even being a neighbor up there. Let's see. Oh, I searched for T41 prototype, and it came up with a lot of tanks. So everyone, I think you need to be a little bit more
Russian tank, yeah.
when you're searching.
Yeah, T41 EP kit or T41 space SDR. Okay. Or SDT, and I'm sure it'll come up. There is a book that totally describes the radio.
All right.
Joe Gordo, congratulations on making the handbook. Let me tell you, to be in the ARRL handbook, you have to be absolutely top-notch. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. And this will be the ninth one that I've had a part in.
Wow.
Good for
Very
you.
Cool.
About that radio.
Awesome.
So,
all right. Well, I don't.
Yeah.
Josh, did you see any other questions for Joe?
Well, I got a couple of questions just myself I'm curious on. So, as far as it being a kit.
He's outruling his.
He's becoming. I couldn't believe he said the king of.
And I've seen Brett
you can't hear me?
Other people that I saw also in Wyoming, and it was great to see everybody.
I did not run into Brett, and he's saying I was there, man, until at least 3:30 on Saturday. So, and I was in the forums, and that's it. Joe has the most fantastic forum, everyone. If you've never gone, make sure you schedule it in, pencil it into your schedule the next Hamfest that you're at, that Joe's at, because my goodness, he's got a wealth of knowledge, but at the same time super funny. And it's just the small it's the small quips, Joe, of things like, ask me how I know that laptop will burn up on your lap.
Right. Exactly. And go to one of his kit bills if you can too, because those are
definitely. We'll put your hands on a hot soldering iron.
Can you guys hear me? Hello?
The cool
You
end.
have to sign a waiver.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely
Make
the
sure
cool
it's on
end.
the cool end. Yeah.
And so those of you near
No, they're
Enid,
not.
Oklahoma, hope to see you there in a couple of weeks.
All right. Well, I didn't see any other questions, so I appreciate it. But I am going to need Josh to.
Can you not hear me?
He's here. He has no sound.
No, I can hear
Got
you fine.
audio problems apparently.
Oh,
We see you, but
okay.
we can't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear us? Shake your head. Yes. Okay.
Oh, good.
Well, good.
He's just going to navigate.
What? That's
for
really
me.
weird. Everybody on the
for
stream can
now.
hear me.
We're at the end here, and I'm just going to kind of go over some topics. I know it's coming up to the end of this, but has everyone heard of the HARP experiment going on right now?
Oh, yeah.
In Alaska.
Yes. So you conspiracy theorists, just shut your screen off right now. Just mute us. Just don't listen, because evidently it's killing the bees and causing cancer and stuff. But no, seriously, they've got a great experiment going on right now, and they had asked amateur radio operators to tune in and to listen for some of their transmissions. And they're doing EME. I can't remember what else they're doing, but they also have evidently a QSL card. So you could be like an SWL listener and send in to them and say, I heard you, and
That's
you'll
cool.
get a specialty QSL card. So you should, everyone checks it out. You have 2 more days. And Gordo, what did you think about this? Pretty fantastic, huh?
Yeah, I've had a chance to visit the HARP installation about 15 years ago, and the megawatts that they send up to refract off the ionosphere, we can hear it down here. In fact, even a couple nights ago, I think things are getting warmed up because I'm hearing strange signals coming through.
Okay, so chat room, shout out if anyone else has heard it. It is HARP Hotel Alpha Alpha Romeo Papa. Just everyone know that. And I don't even know what that stands for. I couldn't tell you. I have no
High
idea.
Altitude Aurora Research.
Okay.
Project, I believe. Yeah.
Project.
Project. Yeah.
Project. There we go.
Anyhow, they were doing quite a few different, and it's time limited though. They're kind of like the Monday through Friday 8 to 4 kind of concept. So they're not on 24/7 or anything like that. But it's interesting that a university took this on to oversee the project, but it's still ran by the United States Air Force. So go figure.
Very interesting.
It is interesting. The next thing I wanted to talk about, we had a de-expedition on that everyone was really looking forward to, Tango Yankee Zero Romeo uniform. And their operations kind of got shut down to almost nothing but FT8. So again, chat room, shout out. Did you get them in your logs? Interested to know. Had a friend last night text me, and he has a very minimal station, a dipole. He's in the middle of Denver, Colorado. 100 watts, nothing else. And he says, I got them in my logs. I got them in my logs. I'm like, I hate you right now. Anyhow, it sounds like it's been fairly successful for most of those that aren't used to getting de-expeditions in their logs right away and that kind of thing. So hopefully all of you got a chance to work them. I think they're on the air for a couple more days, maybe throughout this weekend for the DX contest was probably their plan. But with them only being on FT8, that's not going to be a possibility because the DX contest is on phone only. But maybe they'll stick around and still give out those QSO since it was a planned event. So speaking of the DX contest, that is also coming up this weekend. So be sure to get your situation in order and get ready, make lots of coffee, get ready to eat meals, have your little mini fridge with your water and your coffee pot right next to you, and get ready for a long weekend. As Val always says, this is where you can get DXCC in one weekend.
Wow.
I've seen it done.
I am now just trying to fill in my bands. So if I have, I think I have Brazil on all 5 important bands, but there's a lot of other ones that I'm still trying to fill in. I have even weird ones like Portugal. I still need them on 10 and 15. Okay, those kind of things. So that's where I'm at, is filling it in. I don't know about everybody else. Hopefully you're amped up to do it. And Tom Ritter, he says, it was 100 watts. Yeah, 100 watts on FT8 is quite a bit, right? So I get it. And 10 has been really booming lately, so you might get to fill in a lot of your contacts on 10 meters as well. Who else in here is a host is working the DX contest this weekend?
I'm working all weekend, unfortunately.
Oh, that's too bad. Joe, what about you?
No, I'll be on the road, so I will not
Okay.
be able to do that one.
Gordo?
Yeah, I'll be on there. And technician class operators, you have 10, 28,400. I'll be listening.
All right. And Josh, did we get audio back?
Can you hear me, guys, in the chat? No, the stream. By the way, the stream can hear me.
Doesn't sound like it sounds like we can't hear him on Skype, but everybody else.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
YouTube
So
can,
Skype
so.
problem, I guess.
So wait,
That's
I can read lips.
Yes.
He's saying you have all
no new taxes
earned
That's a different.
a free handheld. Yep, that's it.
Courtesy of.
It's
The
a
king.
Bowfang. It's a Bowfang.
From the king.
I had one other thing on my list that I wanted to talk about. What was it? Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about, has everyone else been trying to buy Raspberry Pis and they're still not in production right now, right? Right. Okay. Jeff just discovered this and he said there's an alternative. And Josh, I posted an Amazon link on the doc, if you don't mind finding it. It's underneath my other links. He's trying out the Libre, and it's also AKA Le Potato. So he's going to come back with some feedback once he gets that, and I think that's going to be end of this week, and he's going to be trying to do a plug and play from his other equipment and see how that works out for him. So just wanted to spark everyone's minds there that there might be hope for something else as an alternative if you haven't found anything else. And I'm hearing some really bad feedback.
It's my bad. Can you hear me now?
Yes, honey.
Kinda, but yeah, you sound like you're speaking into a potato.
Okay. Is that better?
There,
No?
there we go.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was
At
weird.
first, I thought it was a jet engine overhead.
Yeah,
No,
that
it was.
weird.
I just had to change my mic input on Skype. It was totally a Skype thing. The chat hears me. Stream hears me just fine.
That's
so
weird.
Don't know what
That
happened.
is really strange.
Blame Skype as usual.
So you heard everything we said. Any input?
Yes. I don't know if I'll get more than a couple hours for the contest, but I agree that if you're curious about getting DX, this is the time to do it. And technicians, again, 100% agree with Gordo. Technicians, 10 meters, you can get on there and make some contacts. You'd be surprised. So be on the lookout for that.
And it
Heck
doesn't
yeah.
take a big antenna on 10.
No.
I
Very
was
easy.
Several years ago, I was rolling down I-10 in New Orleans in my pickup truck. I had a unit in 25 watt, 10 meter FM radio. And what was I using? I think a 3-foot Fire Stick.
Oh.
Back to back, Australia and Japan.
Wow.
Doing 70 miles an hour down I-10.
Wow.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. A lot of fun.
Wet bed spring on 10 meters. Okay, that it's true though.
Yeah.
When it's open, it's just open.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly.
But when it's closed, it is most definitely closed.
Oh yeah.
Exactly, yeah. You
There's
can't even talk
no doubt
down
on
the
that
block. No.
Yes.
Exactly.
So good luck everyone on the contest this weekend. Let's see, what else do I have? We're going to talk about the nets real quick, and I have a very sad announcement for first thing to talk about. The DMR net is closing up shop. It's been a great run for them. Unfortunately, some of the net controls needed to step away, and they said that their check-ins had been a little low, and they thought that this might be the best time for them to step away. So I would like to thank WA8LIV, K8SAS, and Craig James for stepping up and running that net for several years now. We really appreciate your participation with and supporting Ham Nation. And we're gonna find a way to get another net going, and maybe a multi-mode net, and everyone can stretch their legs on everything and break out their hot spots and see how it works out for them. We will keep you updated on that. So other nets going on tonight. We've got the 20-meter net on 14268 and 40 meters on 7192. I have not heard otherwise on transitioning to 80 meters with Steve, so I'll keep you updated on that as well. But I bet that's going to probably happen next month. That would be the time to switch over to 80 for sure. Other than that, let's go around the horn. Anyone else have anything? Gordo, how about you?
Nope, I'm Happy Cat. See you all soon.
Well, okay, meow. Let's go. Joe, anything else from you?
Well, thank you, Amanda, and thank you for your kind words, Gordo. And handbook is a labor of love, as well as writing for the magazine, and always enjoy getting to share my knowledge with everybody, as that's what real amateur radio is all about.
Well, thank you, Joe. You fantastic. Don, you.
I just wanted to mention that we don't mention a lot of silent keys on Ham Nation, but a guy that was one of the first hams that I made contact with in New Orleans when I got licensed in '95 became a silent key, and only 5 years older than me, so he was 67. Rudy Reball, N5YIC, always just a fixture on the local repeaters, and kind of guy that would help you anytime you needed anything, give you the shirt off his back. Was a fixture not only on the local repeaters, but also at every ham fest. In fact, I just saw him 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago at the Slidell, Louisiana Ham Fest. And always good to see him and talk to him for a little bit. Anyway, Rudy, N5YIC, he has moved farther up the band, and we're going to miss him. So
that's sad.
Yeah. Good guy. Really good guy.
And Josh.
Yeah, two things. So the camp out is still on. So anybody who wants to come on out to Thomas Mountain, there'll be a link in the description to join us. It is with Adam K6ARK and I heard other YouTubers may be coming. It is a 10-mile drive on a dirt road. The last 10 miles in, it's very nice dirt road, though. We'll be there on November 11th, 12th, and 13th. It's just, support yourself camping. It's boondocking in the purest sense. We're just going to have a bunch of ham radios out there. I'll have the Buddy Hex and a wealth of other antennas and radios, so come out and play. And then this Saturday is my official Ham Radio Crash Course Halloween live stream, which we'll be doing some fun
nice
Halloween-y type stuff. Try to keep it spooky, but ham radio's not that spooky, guys, so it's always tough every year I do it. But nonetheless, we'll be having some fun with it. So that's my updates. Thank you, Amanda.
I'm thinking of spooky stuff. So, you have your choice between a Bofing
right.
or this, and you're like,
there's always the baster.
The RFI came from inside the house. That's usually the joke.
I love that. I love that.
That's Joe's awesome microphone. Thank you, Joe, for
Indeed.
sharing that. Okay, I think
all set. Yeah. Well, everybody have a safe Halloween. Enjoy yourself.
Right.
A pity it's on a Monday, but I'm sure everybody will have fun this weekend.
Exactly. Oh yeah, this weekend we got Halloween parties all over the place. I'm off Sundays, going to a Halloween party Saturday night and Sunday. So we're gonna have fun. And don't forget, as you're trick or treating, if you come to my house, turn your head and cough.
All right, everybody. 73. See ya.
73.
Good night. Happy Halloween. Be safe.
7-3. Nice.
Very good. Thank you, everybody.
I was so disappointed a few years ago. I asked dark chocolate or milk chocolate, and dark won.
I love dark chocolate.
Yeah.
I know. See, terrible, terrible people.
Turn your head and cough.